when veganism becomes your identity or your definition of being a good person, you miss the whole point. Some of the most conscious beings on this planet, they still eat meat, like shamans in the Amazon. And just because science hasn't figured out how to measure plant pain doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And it's not about what you eat, it's about how you eat it. Let's talk about something spicy today. Veganism. And no, this is not an anti-vegan rant. I just want to give you a different perspective on things. I don't eat meat myself, but not for the reasons you might think. Like, I don't like the taste, I don't like the smell. It's a preference and not a belief system that I expect others to adopt. Because here's the thing that no one really says out loud. Like, veganism can turn into a belief system and authority, like almost like a religion. And just like any belief system, when you think you found the right way, you start to try to save everyone else. You try to convince everyone else, but not everyone needs to be saved. So I know a lot of people who become vegan because they genuinely care about animals, and I love that. I don't want animals to suffer either, but I also know that death is a part of life. And everything that feeds us has to die at some point, even the plants that you eat. And just because the plants don't scream, or bleed, doesn't mean they don't have a form of awareness. And just because science hasn't figured out how to measure plant pain doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So this whole belief that being vegan is harmless is comforting, but not completely true. Everything we eat comes with a cost, and it's not about removing that cost, it's how we relate to it. And it's not about whether you eat only plants or not, but more like how consciously you relate to what you consume. Whether it's a carrot or, I don't know, a cow. It was a form of life that gave itself for yours. And I'd say awareness and gratitude heal the separation between good and bad food. When you eat with presence and appreciation, you dissolve that judgment and, you kind of like return to wholeness. I mean, we see it all the time. Vegans trying to wake others up. They're shaming meat eaters. They come out with these documentaries, posting slaughterhouse videos. And they're saying things like, if you eat meat, you're complicit in murder. But let's slow down for a second. Like, is this really the most conscious, high-frequency approach? When you force your beliefs on others, you create resistance, not change. And you're not helping people evolve. You're triggering their defenses, and you're feeding your own need to feel more evolved. You know what I mean? The more you raise your consciousness, the less you need to convince others. You just live and you embody and you let your example speak for yourself. When you expand your awareness, there's this interesting thing that happens. Like, you start to naturally shift away from certain things, not because someone told you to, and not because of guilt or shame, but your energy becomes more sensitive, and you just don't want to eat meat anymore. All of a sudden, you develop this this thing where you don't like the taste, like meat. Like, when I eat meat, it feels very heavy. It feels very, I don't know, almost rotten. But if people do eat meat, that doesn't make them less evolved. Like, some of the most conscious beings on this planet, they still eat meat, like shamans in the Amazon. They hunt and eat meat, but they do it in a ceremonial way, like with gratitude, with an intention. And they ask the spirit of the animal for permission. They honor its life, and and that's not unconscious consumption. That is a very, I would say, sacred connection. So this idea that eating meat is like low vibration, it's not that simple, and it's not about what you eat, it's about how you eat it. Like, it's the frequency behind it, the intention, the energy. So trying to control what other people do, that is not consciousness, that's fear. You can't force people to change, and you can't guilt them into becoming more loving. You can't shame someone into enlightenment. And all you can do is just trust and embody and trust that everyone is on their path, on their own journey. And you just got to trust that people awaken in their own time, and that your presence is more powerful than your preaching and your convincing. Also, I feel like food is a very intimate, like, it's cultural, it's emotional, it's ancestral. And people don't just change what they eat because someone yelled at them, "Ugh, meat is bad, you're a murderer," or whatever. And when veganism becomes your identity, your worth, or your definition of being a good person, you miss the whole point. You are not free. You're just following a new rule book, and yeah, kind of like a new right way. But real freedom is not following rules. It's like feeling into your truth. And when you eat from that place, everything kinds of shifts. I really listen to my body, and I don't try to convince others to be like me, because I trust that everyone is exactly where they need to be. And your job isn't to change people. Your job is to be the shift, to embody it, to live it. And I'd say, yeah, let your peace be louder than your preaching. If this resonated, hit the like button, maybe send it to a friend who's caught up, in food wars and crazy about veganism. And don't forget to subscribe for more bold, real talk. And stay grounded, stay curious, and eat what your soul says yes to.